The sound was less of a bang and more of a rupture, a deep, concussive humph that rattled the very foundations of the industrial district, followed by a shower of concrete, twisted rebar, and the distinct, acrid smell of burnt ozone. Inside what was, moment before, a sprawling, albeit secret, warehouse headquarters, Deadpool, for once, was not quipping. He was simply flying, sent sailing through the air by an explosion that had been meticulously, tragically set by his own sidekick. This wasn't just any sidekick, mind you. This was Kid Deadpool, a young man named Chris Casera who, in a twist that would be darkly comedic if it weren't so profoundly sad, had been driven by a burning desire for revenge against the very person he'd chosen to emulate. Chris believed Wade Wilson, the Merc with a mouth, was responsible for his father's death. And so he trained, he studied, he learned, and eventually he wormed his way into Wade's chaotic orbit, not as a fan or an apprentice, but as a meticulously placed, slow-burning fuse. Their partnership, if you could even call it that, was always destined for disarray. Wade, in his typical fashion, likely saw a miniature, less annoying version of himself, a protege perhaps, to mold in his own twisted image. For Chris, however, every shared mission, every late-night pizza, every seemingly mundane moment was a calculated step closer to his ultimate goal. It was a partnership built on a foundation of vengeance, masked by the most dangerous kind of naive trust. And when that foundation finally gave way, it didn't just crumble, it detonated, taking their headquarters and any semblance of a traditional mentor-mentee relationship with it. Consider this for a moment. A young man so consumed by grief and anger that he dedicates himself to becoming the partner of the very person he blames for his father's demise, all in service of a terrible, fiery retribution. It's a testament not just to Chris's fractured psyche, but also to the sheer, magnetic chaos that emanates from Deadpool. People are drawn in, often with the best, or at least the most self-serving intentions, only to find themselves ensnared in a web of unpredictable violence and profound disappointment. But Chris, Kid Deadpool, was far from the only one to learn this bitter, explosive truth about proximity to Wade Wilson. The ranks of Deadpool's friends, allies, and reluctant associates read like a casualty list in a particularly ill-fated Shakespearean tragedy. It's a recurring pattern, almost a cosmic law, that being friends with Deadpool is perhaps one of the most consistently dangerous jobs in the entire Marvel Universe. It's a high-risk, low-reward position with absolutely terrible benefits. Take Bob, Agent of Hydra, for instance. Bob, a timid, unassuming individual who stumbled into a Hydra base during one of Deadpool's raids and has, ever since, been unwillingly dragged into Wade's insane adventures. Bob is not a hero. He's barely competent as a villain. He's just Bob. He's been shot, stabbed, blown up, and humiliated more times than he can count, all while trying to maintain a modicum of personal safety and, occasionally, his own dignity. Yet, through it all, Bob remains, sometimes out of sheer terror, sometimes out of a strange, almost Stockholm Syndrome-like loyalty. He's living proof that even the most reluctant friendship with Deadpool comes with a permanent, life-threatening disclaimer. Then there's Weasel, Wade's long-suffering best friend and information broker. Jack Hammer, or Weasel as he's more commonly known, has been Deadpool's tech guy, his confidant, and occasionally his punching bag for years. Their relationship is a twisted parody of true friendship, laced with genuine affection, deep-seated resentment, and an undeniable codependency. Weasel has been manipulated, betrayed, shot, and left for dead by Deadpool more times than is healthy. He's been incarcerated, had his life's work destroyed, and seen his romantic prospects vaporized, often directly or indirectly due to Wade's influence. Weasel's story in particular highlights the emotional toll of being close to Wade. It's not just the physical danger, which is considerable. It's the constant emotional whiplash, the betrayals that sting deeper because they come from someone you genuinely care about, however misguided that care might be. Their dynamic perfectly encapsulates the terrible benefits aspect. Moments of genuine camaraderie are always overshadowed by the looming threat of disaster, a threat that almost invariably materializes. From the explosive vengeance of a youth like Chris Casera, to the timid, accidental loyalty of Bob, to the deeply entrenched yet profoundly toxic bond with Weasel, a clear pattern emerges. Deadpool's relationships almost always end in disaster, betrayal, or a hail of gunfire. He's a walking, talking, fourth-wall-breaking catastrophe for anyone who dares to call him a friend. His loneliness is often self-inflicted, a consequence of his own chaotic nature and his often misguided attempts at connection. And this brings us to a quiet, if unsettling, realization. While Deadpool might crave companionship, his very existence seems to preclude the possibility of stable, healthy relationships. Those who enter his orbit do so at their own peril, often paying a price far higher than any reward they might hope to gain. The danger isn't just external villains, it's the very nature of Wade Wilson himself. So, the next time you see Deadpool cutting a swath through the Marvel Universe, remember the hidden costs. Remember Chris, Bob, and Weasel. Remember that behind the jokes and the fourth wall breaks, there's a trail of collateral damage, both physical and emotional, left in the wake of his friendships. It's a poignant reminder that some jobs, however tempting, simply aren't worth the risk. What do you think? Who do you believe has had the worst experience being Deadpool's friend or partner? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this exploration into the precarious world of Deadpool's relationships insightful, please consider subscribing for more stories and analyses. We'd love to have you join our community.